Well, tonight, a woman already arrested in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme is now one of the first to be charged in a sweeping child care fraud investigation. Thanks for joining us on air and streaming. I'm Julie Nelson.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. Prosecutors now tying Fahima Muhammad to two schemes totaling $5 million. Joe McCoy has details from the newly unsealed charges.
Federal prosecutors have now filed the first charges connected to alleged Minnesota daycare fraud since their renewed focus on the topic began in December. Fahima Mahmoud was the owner of Future Leaders Early Learning Center and is now charged with fraudulently receiving $4.6 million in Child Care Assistance Program, or CCAP money, from October 2022 to December 2025. Under CCAP rules, child care providers are required to collect co-payments from families and certify they've done so when submitting reimbursement claims. Court documents say Mahmoud submitted thousands of reimbursement claims and falsely certified that those payments had been collected. Mahmoud was already charged in February for allegedly stealing $854,000 in the Feeding Our Future meal fraud case. The U.S. Attorney's Office also brought charges Wednesday against daycare owner Jelaine Mertens. According to court documents, Mertens defrauded Minnesota's Great Start Compensation Support Payment Program by inflating the number of hours her staff worked and submitting applications for funds for staff that did not work for her at all. Prosecutors say from November 2024 to May 2025, Mertens received $425,000 in funds she was not entitled to across her 3 child care centers. Those are Creative Stars Academy in Rochester and Casson and Tree of Life Academy in Ramsey. Online court records show Mertens is expected to enter a plea agreement during her first court appearance on June 4th. The charges against Mahmoud came through what's called a criminal information, which this indicates that she is already cooperating with the feds and plans to plead guilty. Julie.
All right, thank you, Joe. Well, in just over 12 hours, several high-ranking White House officials will be in Minnesota, expected to announce a, quote, major law enforcement action involving fraud. Among those listed to speak tomorrow, Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche, Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr., and Medicare and Medicaid Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz. We will be carrying their press conference live right here at 11 a.m. on air and streaming on KARE 11. Tonight, an ICE agent charged with pointing a gun at drivers during Operation Metro Surge has hired a local lawyer and released his first public statement. Gregory Morgan was charged last month in Hennepin County. Charges say he and his partner were driving on the shoulder of Highway 62 when another car cut them off. They say Morgan opened his window and pointed a gun at the 2 people in the car. Today, Morgan's lawyer released a lengthy statement on his behalf, saying in part, Morgan did not initiate the incident and he reacted in real time to a perceived danger. He said they look forward to presenting the full context in court.
Right now, 2 parents in Morehead behind bars after police say their middle schooler shared THC-laced candy at school. Police say several students ate the candy at Horizon Middle School on Monday. 10 got sick and 2 were taken to the hospital. Morehead police carried out a search warrant on the parents of the child that brought the candy to school, and they found THC products, psychedelic mushrooms, and large amounts of cash. The parents were not home at the time, but police say they arrested them this morning.
Well, tomorrow, students will head back to school in Delano after a cyber attack forced the cancellation of classes today. This is the latest in a string of attacks targeting schools over the last few years. Ian Russell joins us now with details and what experts had to say. Ian?
You know, Julie, Delano has systems set in place to automatically shut off the internet in situations like these, helping to mitigate the problem. The superintendent says they have cyber insurance as well to help respond to these events to fully investigate what happened. And if all of this sounds familiar, that you've heard of other districts also experiencing these hacks, you're right.
In the halls of Delano High School, learning yesterday's history gets tomorrow's students ready for their future.
It's an unfortunate distraction.
Today, though, brought no gifts. Only headaches.
Or it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen, and that's our new reality.
Early Tuesday morning, thousands of pages printed across the district with one word across the top.
It had ransomware on the top as a title, but most of the messaging in the letter that was printed out was encrypted.
Superintendent Matt Shane says the district system shut off the internet quickly, helping contain the cyber attack.
When the internet goes down, it actually is more important than when we lose power.
Classes were canceled Wednesday because of that. Delano joins a growing list of schools affected by cyber attacks in recent months. Spring Lake Park was the victim of a suspected ransomware attack in April. St. Thomas and the U of M affected by a cyber attack on the education platform Canvas just weeks ago.
There's been a rash of these nationwide. It feels like the educational system is being specifically targeted.
Cybersecurity expert Bryce Austin says these attacks have had success against schools, largely because they may not have the resources to fully stop them.
I think as long as there are easy marks in the educational system, the ransomware gangs targeting them are going to continue to do so.
Austin says there is no perfect solution to stop these attacks, but instead says up-to-date practices need to be as common as other safety features in schools. A day full of headaches, and one these educators hope won't happen again soon.
Unfortunately, as school districts have learned over these instances, this is what we're going to have to do moving forward.
Now, classes are back on in person tomorrow in Delano, but everything needing the internet will be wired instead of running off the Wi-Fi. And also interesting, the superintendent tells me that they'll be sharing their experience with other districts nearby so they get a look at what happened and how it all was resolved. Julie.
Man, it's so sad that they're all dealing with this. But you were saying now they have special insurance for instances like this?
Yeah, it was something that I'd never heard of, but it's the same insurance that we all have, right? They have a deductible for this. It goes through liability. They're able to file these claims, and the company will actually send out a team to be able to fully investigate what happened, make sure they overhaul their systems, really get them back into a place where they should be. So really interesting to learn about that today.
Cyber attack insurance.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ian. Well, a man is now facing several felony charges after police say he shot at a firefighting plane in northern Minnesota. Charging documents say Daniel Pettit shot at the plane as it was scooping water from a lake to fight a nearby wildfire. Pettit lives on that lake. He told police he was crow hunting when he saw the plane fly overhead. He said the plane was flying too low and told police, quote, "If I accidentally hit him crow hunting, too bad. He endangered my life." Charges say Pettit previously complained about seaplanes in the area, and neighbors said they heard shots each time the firefighting planes came around.
Right now, work is happening to make sure funding allocated to save HCMC is being used effectively. Governor Walz visited the hospital yesterday and praised the bipartisan effort to get this deal done. The hospital will receive $205 million this year and will have access to a reserve fund of $500 million through 2031. HCMC leaders say there are guardrails in place to make sure the money is being spent appropriately.
There are a number of provisions in the legislation tied to the finances that contain some reporting requirements, so there will be a lot of transparency in how the funds are being used and what progress is being made to stabilize Hennepin County Medical Center for the long run.
Hospital leaders say their role as a training and research institute is not changing, but in the future they might have to allow other healthcare systems to take on things they've done for years.
Tonight, new officers are on the force in Minneapolis. In the last few hours, 33 new Minneapolis police officers were sworn in, including 27 who just graduated from the police academy and 6 transferring in from other departments. One new Minneapolis Park police officer also graduated. Family members were on hand to pin the badges on the new officers. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says the recruiting class is one of the biggest in his time with the department.
You chose this profession at a time when policing faces enormous challenges and expectations nationwide, especially here in Minneapolis. But that choice says something about your character, your courage, and your willingness to serve others.
Chief O'Hara says the recent bigger recruiting classes put the department much closer to the minimum set out in the city charter.
Oh boy, it started off chilly, but turned out to be pretty beautiful when things are getting a little warmer ahead of the holiday weekend. Ben Deary in the backyard with a check of the forecast.
Hey, Kevin. Yes, it does look like it'll warm up specifically the second half of this upcoming weekend. We only hit about 60 degrees today. We should be a little bit warmer with a southeast wind over the next couple of days, but we're going to stay seasonably cool at least through Saturday. But notice a bump by the end of the weekend. Sunday, we're near 80, mid 80s on Memorial Day. Now, in the short term, frost and freeze headlines for the Arrowhead and parts of northern Wisconsin, but we're going to stay well above freezing here around the Twin Cities. Our next chance for rain later Friday, especially Friday evening into early Saturday morning, kind of a split holiday weekend. We'll talk about a streak of summer-like air that begins on Monday and could last well into next week. Details coming up, Kevin.
Thank you, sir. Coming up, the Twin Cities once again among the best park systems in the country.
And new research shows a food you have in your fridge right now could help with anti-aging. Plus,
urban data centers already here and at the center of debate in downtown Minneapolis. How many more could be coming?
The calls I've gotten in the last 2 weeks have been amazing.
Who wants them and who doesn't? Next.